We're fortunate to live in a world where profound insight can come from healthcare data. But too many life science and healthcare organizations are only scratching the surface when it comes to truly improving healthcare and cutting costs. At DWise, we're on a mission to make a lasting impression. Our unique combination of industry expertise and deep technology know-how sets us apart. Led by world experts in clinical trials, health analytics, data standards, and emerging technologies, DWise brings together the people, processes, data, and technology to deliver on our bold vision. By rapidly harnessing data, integrating systems, and aligning critical business needs to your challenges, our solutions and services put your organization right where it should be. But this is more complex than it sounds. We get that competing concerns can roadblock even the most sensible modernization efforts, which is why priorities are aligned before we press go. For life sciences companies, we get that legacy systems are staying way too long due to the intense validation process. And for healthcare organizations, we get the need to integrate data into one version of the truth, tapping the latest technologies. Bottom line, DWise gets your world. We know just what your modernization journey needs to turn your organizational obstacles into modernization successes. So if you're ready to take your company to the next level, reach out to DWise and begin your modernization journey today.
Life sciences companies, whether they're small biotechs or global pharma organizations, are facing more and more challenges with each passing year. There is more pressure than ever before to move new treatments through the development process faster, with fewer resources and with higher quality. Clinical development teams need to modernize and simplify and adapt to the pace of 21st century business. Clinical trial technology solutions that used to enable efficiency are in dire need of replacement. Data is hard to find, performance is slow, existing solutions are approaching or have passed end of life, and system maintenance is not only expensive but difficult to provide. At the same time, the processes designed to work with these technologies have not aged gracefully. New software tools to address these process limitations ultimately require new workarounds, which require new tools. Life sciences companies know they need to stop this cycle, but can't. That's where DWise comes in. Our team of life sciences experts have faced these challenges at their own pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and contract research organizations, and have brought their knowledge and practical experience to DWise. By providing consulting and technology solutions for virtually every top 50 life sciences company in the past decade, we've learned how to solve the wide variety of challenges the life sciences industry faces. Implementing a clinical data repository, or a statistical computing environment, or a metadata repository, DWise has successfully implemented all of the leading products in this market space. Developing successful business processes that enable the CDISC standards to accelerate your development program instead of slowing you down? DWise knows more about the CDISC standards than CDISC, and we have the track record to prove it. Relicensing or modernizing your SAS environment? DWise has enabled our life sciences customers to maximize the value from their SAS licenses while modernizing their SAS environment at the same time. Thinking about moving your clinical technology solutions to the cloud? DWise provides validated hosting and managed services that address the specific challenges of managing clinical trial data and technology. De-identifying data so it can be shared internally or externally for secondary use? DWise has developed and implemented the leading clinical trial anonymization software in the world. And if all of this seems like it's too much to handle, DWise's change management experts have proven time after time they know how to achieve success for and with our customers. For over a dozen years, DWise has been advising our life sciences customers' data management, statistical programming, and biostatistics teams as they adapt to the changing clinical trial landscape. Whether it's developing business requirements, implementing CDISC standards, aligning new technologies like metadata repositories or clinical data repositories to customer needs, or optimizing analysis and reporting processes, DWISE's consulting successes with virtually every major pharmaceutical and biotechnology company in the US and Europe has enabled us to become the advisor of choice for data and technology-related clinical trial consulting. DWISE's progressive and comprehensive clinical advisory services approach to modernizing your clinical trial solutions and processes will enable you to achieve similar success. We'll work to identify those business challenges, systems, processes, and architecture that are inhibiting the achievement of your goals, and then DWISE will enable you to achieve your goals. When you implement SAS at more biopharmaceutical companies than anyone else in the industry, you learn quite a few things about the best way to license and modernize SAS for clinical research. You learn what the documentation says and what it doesn't say. You learn what works and what doesn't. You learn what matters from a cost perspective and from a success perspective. Most of all, you learn that biostatistics, IT, and procurement aren't getting all the information they need when it's time to renew their SAS license or upgrade to a new release or new operating system. And if they're not getting the full picture, it's impossible to make the right decisions. Whether you're moving from PC SAS to server SAS or from server SAS to SAS Grid, DWISE has proven time and time again how to make the right choices when it's time to modernize your SAS implementation. If you're already using SAS, you know how difficult and time-consuming it is to maintain from an IT perspective. Installing, upgrading, patching, and wrestling with performance. Your IT staff need to be experts in SAS administration, clinical regulations, and be prepared to thoroughly validate every system change. DWISE has been implementing validated SAS environments for biopharmaceutical companies for years, and now we've taken that experience to the cloud, where we can manage your clinical SAS infrastructure so you don't have to. With the DWISE Clinical Acceleration Platform, organizations can gain unparalleled insight into data analytics and analysis, turning operational clinical trial data into actionable intelligence faster than ever before. An optimal life sciences statistical computing environment satisfies three main criteria. It must be reliable, scalable, and compliant. Historically, biopharmaceutical sponsors and CROs used internal IT teams to deliver analytics environments to the business. But is this model still optimal or even desired? Do sponsors want to be in the business of using systems or managing them? Increasingly, life sciences firms are considering outsourced platforms as an alternative, perhaps even a preferred alternative, to deliver analytics capabilities to the business. But they must meet these three critical needs. DWISE designed the Clinical Acceleration Platform to eliminate the regulatory burden associated with clinical systems validation and accelerate the clinical development lifecycle through improved collaboration, efficient data acquisition, secure data storage, and fast aggregation and analysis. Built on SAS Foundation analytics software, the Clinical Acceleration Platform offers a suite of best-of-breed clinical software tools and managed services with the ability to add your own applications. Highly flexible and scalable, the platform can be deployed in as little as 24 hours and accessed from anywhere in the world, accelerating time to insight and decision-making. There's no installation or integration required and no need for additional staffing, helping organizations lower IT costs and reduce administrative overhead, putting you on the path to a faster, more substantial ROI. Clinical Acceleration Platform clients can also take advantage of DWISE's industry-leading consulting expertise in standards, technologies, and processes across the clinical development lifecycle. Think DWISE when you need SAS now. As life sciences companies adopt CDISC, they're quickly realizing that spreadsheets aren't the solution as metadata expands, evolves, and matures. Governance, traceability, and efficiency move from expected goals to daily struggles. Commercial metadata repositories can address this problem, but selecting and implementing the right solution is extremely difficult. Many organizations look to DWise. We have proven experience with each of the leading metadata repositories. Whether you're looking for a vendor-agnostic recommendation or demonstrated implementation experience, or both, DWise has the proven expertise to get the job done right. The CDISC standards comprise more than 20 different foundational and therapeutic standards, and yet most life sciences companies have only seen success when it comes to delivering SDTM structured data to FDA. Standards-driven integration and efficiency remains an unfulfilled promise. For many companies, the opposite has happened. DWise's CDISC experience across multiple customers has enabled us to understand the standards and the available industry tools, and how to deploy them strategically. We know you've already invested in CDISC. DWise will enable you to reap the reward from that investment. Establishing standards and associated processes is never enough. How will you handle new versions of standards? Will older trials need to be brought up to the new release? Will new trials need to follow outdated standards? How can you verify that the right programs are being used with the right data models? DWise has proven experience helping our customers address exactly these challenges. Our approach to CDISC governance is designed to ensure that your CDISC implementation stands the test of time. Successful CDISC implementations are more than integrating metadata spreadsheets and SAS programs. They're more than investing in tools to facilitate metadata management. Successful CDISC implementations are built from education, governance, technology, and process. At DWise, we believe that the key to success is first identifying quantifiable business objectives that you want to accomplish with CDISC, and then delivering the comprehensive implementation to support those very specific goals. DWise, the industry leader in CDISC implementations. Successful implementations don't stop with new technology, new processes, and new training. The customer team, both users and management, need to fully buy into the changes being introduced, so they're doing more than just dragging their heels when it comes to applying new capabilities in their day-to-day activities. DWise's clinical trial consultants have worked at companies like yours. We know who's checking the boxes and who's leading the charge, and we have the expertise to bring everyone along on the journey. How many times each day do you search for something on the internet, or in your inbox, or on your network? Search has changed the way we retrieve information, except when it comes to clinical trials. The most valuable clinical trial content has been locked away in SAS data sets, and the only key to unlock that data has been kept in biostatistics, until now. With Reveal, DWise's clinical search tool, anyone can unlock the data and search for answers. If you have access to the SAS data anywhere on your file system, it's searchable by Reveal. When is clinical search useful? Have you ever asked biostatistics for some data points that are buried in SAS data sets? Or maybe you didn't even ask because you knew where the request would be on their priority list. It could be a regulator asking about a particular safety concern, or an internal question about an in-licensed compound. Or maybe you need to review past trials to plan the next trial. With Reveal, you will never look for data the same way ever again. Whether you're sharing clinical trial data externally or making that data available internally for secondary uses, one thing is clear. The data absolutely has to be de-identified or anonymized to satisfy regulatory and ethical expectations. And with increasing demands for more and more data to be shared, the old ways of de-identifying data are no longer the best ways. That's where DWise and Blur come in. Blur is the industry-leading solution for de-identifying clinical trial data. The application is designed specifically for clinical trials. It dramatically reduces the cost, time, and effort to de-identify data while bringing automated workflow and documentation to the process. For external sharing obligations, that means de-identification becomes highly efficient with reduced risk. For internal sharing opportunities, Blur makes it easier than ever to satisfy your research and marketing team's needs for de-identified data. When you're deciding between the old way or the best way, Blur is the clear choice.